Mr. President, how long must women wait for liberty?
Women of this nation, this is the time to fight.
Set your mind to making history and wage such a fight for liberty that the whole world will respect our sex.
No country can truly flourish if it stifles the potential and contributions of half its people.
Any great change must expect opposition because it shakes the very foundation of privilege.
Unless women are prepared to fight politically, they must be content to be ignored politically.
Oftentimes, the most righteous thing you can do is shake the table.
The American women's demand for self-government is too deep to be stamped out by prison sentences of any length. I went to prison along with other suffragettes, not because I obstructed traffic, because I pointed out to the President of the United States that he is obstructing the progress of justice and democracy. Nothing prepared us for prison. The 6x9 cells each had a foul-smelling open toilet, hard mattresses, and steel cots. The prison food was riddled with worms. Officials turned off the heat and lights at night. In the dark, huge rats scampered about fighting each other. One woman found her bed black with bedbugs. The windows were closed in late afternoon until early morning. To let in much-needed fresh air for all of us, I broke a window with a bowl I found in my cell. For that act, I was transferred to solitary confinement in the jail's psychopathic ward. The government's strategy was to discredit me, hoping the Woman's Party would say, we had better disown this crazy person. But they didn't. I maintained a hunger strike for a month until they force-fed me 3 times a day, pouring food down my nose with a hard tube. But nothing could stop us. Nothing.
If the soul of the nation is to be saved, I believe that women must become its soul.
Mr. President, how long must women wait for liberty?
You may not want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. If you lived in the South, being a black woman or man, you were blocked from voting until 1965. Why? Because racism in this country is invisible. Because it's so normal. It is time for America to wake up and know that we're not going to tolerate it anymore. And if I fall in the fight, I fall 5 feet 4 inches towards freedom. I cannot stand when people stand to sing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail? What do we have to hail? When usually the land of the free and the home of the brave means to folks who look like me, the land of the tree and the home of the grave. When I hear people say, what's folks doing all this rioting? And my God, what do they want? What do you think we want? And when we rise up against the white man and demand to be treated as he is, an equal, you are still bewildered. So to answer your questions, all we want is what you want, no less and no more. And understand, it was the Voting Rights Act of 1965, not the 14th, 15th, or 19th Amendments that got rid of all the barriers across this country to let me vote. And yet, today, it rears its ugly head.
Women of this country must become revolutionaries.
The movement changes as the world of women changes.
You may hiss as much as you please, but we will get our rights.
There is no limit to what we can accomplish.
The movement is a mosaic. Each of us puts in one little stone.
The movement is a continuous, seemingly endless chain of activity.
Young suffragists who helped forge the last links of that chain were not born when it began.
Old suffragists who forged the first links were dead when it ended.
For example, to get the word male out of the Constitution cost the women of this country 52 years of pauseless campaigns, 56 state referendum campaigns, 480 legislative campaigns to submit state suffrage amendments, 47 state constitutional convention campaigns, 277 state party convention campaigns, 30 national party convention campaigns to get suffrage on the party platforms, 19 campaigns with 19 successive Congresses to get the federal amendment submitted, and then the final campaign to get it ratified.
We opened a great many doors to women with the power of the vote.
We were wiser politically than any group of women had ever been, because the opposition of politicians was so fierce and the public remained indifferent and hostile.
Women were forced to become extremely effective campaigners, lobbyists, and publicists.
These skills, once learned, were put to use after the vote was won.
Men were saying, "Thank God this everlasting woman's fight is over."
But the women were thinking,
At last,
we can begin.
We can begin.
we can begin.